During the Hundred Years' War, 1337 to 1453, Spain, comprising the kingdoms of Castile, Aragon, and Navarre, played a significant but often complex and shifting role. While Spain was not one unified nation at the time, its involvement in the conflict was marked by political alliances, military engagements, and strategic interests that aligned at various times with both France and England. Early involvement and support for France. In the early stages of the war, the Kingdom of Castile was primarily aligned with France, largely due to shared Catholic interests and the political ambitions of the Spanish monarchs. Castile had territorial disputes with England, especially over trade routes and influence in the Atlantic. The French and Castilian crowns found common cause in resisting English expansionism. Philip VI of France sought the support of Castile, and in turn, the Castilians provided military assistance to France during some of the early battles, including the Battle of Sluis, 1340, and the Siege of Calais. Shift in allegiances, Castile and England. However, the political landscape in Spain was volatile. By the late 14th century, Henry II of Castile came to power, and his rule marked a shift in Castile's allegiances. Henry's political goals led him to reconsider his relationship with France, and by the 1360s, Castile's stance became more sympathetic to England. This change was solidified after the Treaty of Windsor, 1386, between England and Portugal, where the Portuguese and English crowns became close allies. Castile's rival, Portugal, was staunchly aligned with England, and this rivalry contributed to the change in Castile's foreign policy. Aragon's role in the War of Castilian Succession. At the same time, Aragon, another major kingdom in Spain, had its own interests in the war, particularly regarding territorial disputes in the Mediterranean. The Aragonese were involved in conflicts with France over southern Italy and the Kingdom of Naples. While not directly engaged in the Hundred Years' War, Aragon often sided with France against English and Italian adversaries, particularly in Italy and the Mediterranean. Additionally, the War of Castilian Succession, 1366 to 1369, further complicated the situation. This conflict was a struggle for the Castilian throne between Henry II of Castile, who was supported by France, and Peter the Cruel, who was backed by England. The war ended with Henry II's victory and the establishment of a more French-aligned Castile, marking a significant shift in the region's dynamics. Castilian and Aragonese naval involvement. Throughout the Hundred Years' War, Spain also contributed to naval engagements. Castile and Aragon both maintained powerful fleets that participated in maritime battles. Castile's navy, for instance, engaged in naval skirmishes with English forces in the Bay of Biscay and along the Atlantic coast. The Spanish naval forces, particularly those of Castile, supported French shipping lanes and attempted to disrupt English trade routes. The influence of the Iberian Peninsula on the war. While the direct military impact of Spain in the Hundred Years' War may not have been as significant as that of France or England, Spain's involvement was nonetheless crucial in shaping the broader European balance of power. The shifting alliances, the rivalry between Castile and Portugal, and the tensions between Aragon and France all influenced the course of the conflict. Moreover, Spain's role as a mediator, both through diplomacy and military action, helped shape the outcome of key battles and peace negotiations. Conclusion. Spain's role in the Hundred Years' War was marked by complex shifting alliances, driven by territorial ambitions, economic interests, and dynastic disputes. Both Castile and Aragon oscillated between supporting France and England, with Castile, in particular, changing its allegiance several times throughout the war. The Iberian Peninsula's involvement added a layer of intrigue to the conflict, reflecting the broader European struggle for influence during the medieval period. Ultimately, Spain's participation in the Hundred Years' War was part of the larger geopolitical shifts that set the stage for the region's future dominance in European affairs.